Good morning from Badminton Talk podcast, all the way from Dublin, Ireland. This is John, and you're welcome to the Badminton Talk podcast, brought to you by, of course, the Q Shuttle. Today it's a lovely day in Dublin. It's the 4th of December, and not too long to go before 2022 when the new badminton season is going to start. But there's lots of badminton at the moment going on. We have the World Championships down in Spain. We have the Under-19 Junior International Circuit in Portugal. And of course the Welsh Open is also on. So the question is, and the big question to ask everybody is, where is Mark Topping? Let's give a clue to our listeners.
The latest favorite of Valentino, he had a Pino back in his farmer days. You every time you meet a nice creature, you gotta teach her how to love and let it waste. But even Rudy would have felt the strain of making smooth advances in the rain of his year. I'm on the sunny stage. Taking back the stuff from a plane. Hey, viva España. If you'd like to shut a matador in some cool campagna and meet senoritas by the score, España, por favor.
Yes, that is a little bit of a clue that Mark Topping went off to sunny Spain about a week ago. Yes, he went to compete in the World Seniors down in Andalusia. I'm not sure if he had much time to go on the beach, but he certainly played a lot of badminton. And he made 2 quarterfinals. One in the mixed doubles with Debbie Miller, and the second one was in the doubles with Graham Henderson. So viva la España, and let's hope Mark Topping has had a wonderful experience. Of course, we are going to check in with him on the Badminton Talk podcast in a few moments' time. Yes. Welcome everybody to the Badminton Talk podcast, and hope you are all keeping well in this COVID condition climate that we are still in. So Mark Topping headed off to the World Championship down in Andalusia and was playing in all 3 disciplines. Of course, there were other Irish players playing too. There was Pam Peard with Sian Williams, and also we had Brian McKay as well. And let's see, how did they all get on briefly? Well, just to bring you up to date, that if we look at the men's singles 65, Brian McKay, he played against Robin Wells from England, was beaten in 3 sets, but a good match, 19-21, 21-10, 21-3. And then Mark Topping played in the men's singles 55. He was seeded 9-15. Played against Guzman in his opening round, winning 21-11, 21-7. That was a good start. That was a match that lasted about 24 minutes. And of course, the competition here in the World Championship was extremely strong in numbers. So he moved him on for that first round match to playing against an English player, Terry Sherman. And again, Mark made light work of that, winning 21-9, 21-11. Of course, the next big match was for Mark to play against, for a match to bring him into the quarterfinals against Jean-Jacques Bonhomme. who was seeded 5-8, so a slightly higher ranking, and it was a cracking set, 21-18, 17-21, 21-14. And that's really for Mark where it all finished. Jack went on to then play Henrik Madsen and won that 21-10, 19-21, 21-10. And then Jean-Jacques Bontemps played against, of course, Chao Sei Shen, who was the 9-16th, and Chao beat him 21-11, 21-16. So that means that he has ended up in the final to play against Karun Casapante and Karun Pasasante is from Thailand. So it's exciting because all the finals are taking place today on the Saturday, December the 4th. So how did Mark do in the doubles is the next question. So if we look at Mark, he played with Graham Henderson. He's been a seasoned partner for a long, long time and, very, very experienced. So they played their opening match against Michael Nevitt and Terry Sherman and won 21-11, 21-9. And then they were up against Hubert Müller from Switzerland and Par Lindau from Sweden and won that 21-16, 21-14, which was a place really in the quarterfinals. So the question was, could they go one more? And they looked like they were in very good form coming into that, but they were put up against a very tough pair from, of course, the country of Thailand. There was a lot of Thailand, a lot of international representation in this particular tournament. And they played against Karun Kasapant and Sukralai Maka Sintor. Very hard one to pronounce here on the Badminton Talk podcast. A cracking game. Lost the first set narrowly. That was the key one. 19-21, 21-15, 21-15. And I suppose you could say there was disappointment there because Mark had expected really to go a little bit further. Their opponents then went on and beat Magnus Nintel and Erik Soderberg from Sweden in 2 sets, 8 and 12. So you could argue they could have made that semi-final. And the other semi-finals is Klaus Buchbeck and Organ Schmitz-Foster, who had a cracking game against Morten Christensen and Jan Bertram Pattern in the doubles. 5-21, 24-22, 23-21. So unfortunately that ended Mark's streak in the doubles, and then his other focus was, of course, in the mixed doubles, and the mixed doubles with his partner for a long, long time, of course, seasoned campaigner Debbie Miller. And again, they played in the over 55s. And also I should say that Graham Henderson and Pamela Peard played in the over 55s too, had a good win against the Finnish pair, Antila and Petes, 22-20, 21-15, but then were beaten by the English pair of Boker and Hammond, 21-13, 21-19. Yeah, all these names may mean something to our listeners if you're following on the senior circuit here on the Badminton Talk podcast. But Mark and Debbie took their opening win. They had a walkover against the Indian pair. And then I'll pronounce their names. Let me try this. Susie Vijan, okay, Venkata Santkanara Moore Akula. What a name. Don't ask me to repeat that again. And their next game was, so really their first game was out against Thomas Hayes and Erika Keimer from Germany. They made light work of them, 21-10, 21-8, and then for a place, playing in the quarterfinals, for a place in the semis, came up against Magnus Nintel and Sandra Kroom. Wow, that was a feisty match. A lot of issues went on, a lot of controversial point of forgetting the score towards the end of the first set from the umpire, and I'd be interested to hear what Mark has to say, but we may not hear him say that today. when we tune into the podcast. He might say that maybe next week, but 24-22, 22-20. So Magnus Nintel and Sandra Kuhn, a really, really good match. And they went on to win against the Indian pair, Prabhuti Naidun and Susanna Vengelet. They beat them 21-16, 23-21. And then they got a walkover and are now into the final. So you can argue that that was the one game, that was the game that they had to win. Had they succeeded in that, they would have taken that match. And I'm just looking here. Their final has been a walkover. So Magnus Nintel and Sandra Kuhn are the winners. So that's how close it is with some of these competitions at the very, very highest levels. But we also want to do a big shout out, of course, to Sham Williams and to Pam Peard, who have made it into the women's doubles over 55's final. And they will play Kathy Barrage and Debbie Miller from England today. So we wish them really well, and we will know all about how well they've done when we listen back to them, when we have a chat with you again at the Badminton Talk podcast, which will be of course next Saturday, the same time of 11 a.m. So yeah, you can argue that it was an almost medal. Playing for 2 medals on the Badminton Talk podcast, not just enough. Now, let's put some money in the meter and let's ask Mark Topping what the experience is like. Recorded this on 2 days ago, so because Mark was still in competition. I think it was yesterday, and this is what caught up with Mark, and this is what he had to say.
Yeah, John, what did I think of the World Championships here in Spain, in Huelva, in Andalusia, the Senior World Championships? It's been a great tournament, been very well organised, a lot of volunteers, helpers, good management around the tournament, thought of a lot of things due to COVID, very strict on the COVID restrictions, particularly wearing masks in Spain is a absolute must at the moment, and it seems that maybe who knows, maybe it's that measure that is leading Spain is having a good moment at this moment in time with COVID. Who can tell? It can change so fast with COVID, but the incidence rate here in Spain is very low at the moment, and maybe it's because of this strictness and adherence to wearing masks everywhere. So you're constantly reminded. It's been wonderful to get out of the country and travel. I haven't been out of Ireland for 2 years due to COVID, and it's great to meet up with old friends and meet badminton players from around the world, all trying to do their best to compete in the World Championships. From a personal point of view, I had a pretty good tournament. I have to say I'm pretty delighted with where I'm at the moment, given that essentially for 18 months in Ireland we've really had no competitive play. I've really missed, for example, the Badminton Premier League. Hope that comes back, and Division 1 Dublin and District League. Also hope that comes back. I think that I have heard that is in train, that the Dublin and District League will be returning, which is great news for Irish badminton and for Leinster badminton. I'm delighted about that. Yeah, so I've missed the competitive play. Other nations, quite a lot of other nations, didn't lock down as strictly or as severely or as long. Notably Sweden, I think, didn't lock down very hard at all, maybe briefly, but their badminton players have been competing hard for 2 years, and it's very noticeable, the results. Sweden is gaining a lot of medals. They're just a little bit further on than a lot of nations. English are doing well. I don't think they suffered as much of a lockdown badminton-wise. So from a personal point of view, delighted with how I've managed to maintain and stay reasonably competitive at this incredibly high level. Made the last 16 of the men's singles, lost in 3 sets to the French number 5 8 seed. Tough 49-minute match, and made the quarterfinals of both the men's doubles and the mixed doubles. Lost out a very tight mixed doubles to Magnus Neitel and Sandra Kroon. I think it was 24, 22, 23, 21, so good games, really enjoyable, fun to play in. Also came up against a very efficient, very technically skillful Thailand pair in the quarterfinals of the men's doubles. My partner Graham Henderson played superbly. We went out in 3 sets to the Thais. Shan and Pam, as I record this, I've just won the semi-final of the women's doubles 55 plus, and so they are marching into the final where they play an English pair, actually my partner Debbie Miller and Kathy Barr in the final. I think that'll be on at some stage tomorrow, maybe. The schedule's not out yet, so look out for that. I'd say there'll be a big support from back home watching. Go Shan, go Pam. Every chance of winning a gold medal, which would be some achievement. They have been such consistent performers for many years on this senior tour, the European Badminton Championships, the World Senior Championships, and in fairness, the preparation and the thought and the discipline and the amount of play that I noticed Pam and Shan were sort of 10, 12, 16 weeks prior to this, almost every weekend. Pam's been travelling down from Bangor in County Down to train with Shan and organising practice matches in Whitehall Road in the Terranure Badminton Centre. Absolutely fabulous discipline, and good luck, girls. Let's bring home that medal. I think that's all I have to report. I hope to see you all soon on the court. Back to you, John. Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, Mark, thank you so much. I think we can hear a sign of a bit of disappointment in Mark's voice there, albeit a very honest assessment. And Mark is probably right that other countries had a little edge on the practice side of things. It was quite hard to get practicing, and particularly with partners, that always shows itself when that's not happened. But a big well done, and let's give him our congratulation emoji here on the Badminton Talk podcast, of course brought to you by the Q Shuttle. The other focus of attention, apart from the competition in Wales, which is still going on this week and had some good representation from Irish players, there was the Portuguese Junior International, and the under-19 team has headed out there very early in the morning of 4 a.m. I had to drop Sophia to the airport at about 10 to 4. They got a good practice session in on Thursday, started Friday, and Sophia had a very solid first round win in the singles, which is always nice, just to kind of start your card with that kind of win. The European Under-19 Championships, as we know, is going to happen in September. So Sophia took her opening match. She was, if I look at it here on the screen, playing against Florane Nuric and won that 21-13, 21-14, and now plays the German Hannah Birch at 12:30 today. So if you hear this podcast and you can get on to YouTube, you can Google the Portuguese Junior Open and watch her play. Also, Laura Coma had a good solid win against a Andrea May Hoop. Now let me check on my where is Andre Hoop from? I'm just trying to locate the country, and it's Estonia. There's a lot of Estonians in this competition. Very strong country, along with the Turks and others. So she's now going to play the Portuguese Beatriz Roberto in the next round. She's seeded 5. That'll be a tough game, but who knows? And Nessa Flynn had a win against Mara Hando in 3 tight sets, 17-21, 21-19, 21-16. Now we'll play Juliet Lecure. So they are the 3 players representing a a game to bring them to round 3, and they're all on today. Matthew Chung won his opening match in the men's singles yesterday, which is excellent, and now he's up against the 14th seed. He won against Mark Martin, 21-11, 21-15, and now is up against the 14th seed Oscar Manick. So that will be a very interesting and challenging game, but who knows how that might go. Sophie and Laura are through to the next stage because they got a walkover in the doubles. They had a good win on their opening match against in the mixed, which was yesterday, and they played Wolf Hobeg and Hannah Berg and won 21-10, 21-12, 21-10, and then they came up against the Estonian number 1 seed Oscar Manick and Ramas Upras. Slow start, I have to say, in the first set, 21-11 they lost, but then started getting going and playing some good stuff and lost 21-18. They were just getting the engine going, but you have to have your engine fast and furious, but well able to compete against the number 1 seeds. And of course, the last really big result to bring is the opening round yesterday of Vincent Pontenosa and Scott Gilday. They played against Thomas Redalf and Matthias Hong. Of course, they represented Norway, and they lost the first set 15-21, but came back really strong, 21-15, 21-13, and now play against Alexandro Gozzini and Luca Zhao in the next round, which is again going to be screened today from Italy. So lots and lots and lots to look forward to on the Badminton Talk podcast brought to you by, of course, the Q Shuttle. And just taking a quick peep at the Welsh Open, unfortunately, the only players to progress to a quarter-final at the weekend was Kate Frost and Moya Ryan, who beat Estelle Van Leeuwen and Redverfer 18-18, but were beaten by the Anna Chin Yik and Cho Min Ying. They are a very formidable pair, from my knowledge here, from Malaysia, and they were beaten 9 and, according to the chart here, 9 and 8. So that's the Wales Open. So so it's all still to play for in Portugal. So it's well worth looking at that. And the finals, of course, of Sham Williams and Pam Peard, the over 55s, which is on today. Okay, that is means our time is coming to an end here on the Badminton Talk podcast, brought to you by the Q Shuttle. Yes, lots to still play in the badminton. Of course, the tour from the juniors, and Mark and myself, big promoters of junior badminton. It's great to see our juniors doing so well, always making themselves into the latter stages of competition. Future of badminton is really good in Ireland. We've got to keep believing in our players, keep supporting them, keep sponsoring them, keep nurturing them, keep giving them opportunities, and also the juniors, the juveniles below the juniors too. The tour moves to Galway next weekend for the under 13s and the under 17s national final, which should prove to be very exciting to see our top juniors and juveniles and see who will be the finalists and who will be the gold and silver medalists here on the Badminton Talk podcast. So as we hear, this music gives us our play out. But we want to dedicate this maybe podcast today not just to the Q Shuttle, which of course we're thankful, but we would like to dedicate it to a great and terrific effort by Mark Topping in the seniors. So we're going to play out with some nice Spanish music and wish Sham and Pam the best. My money's on them. Best of luck.
When they first arrive, the girls are pink and pasty, but also tasty as soon as they come around. I guess they know every fella will be queuing to do the wooing. His girlfriend won't allow. You just know she went on to become a Johnny TV presenter.